to order the Wednesday, March 4th, Rosewood Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Start with a roll call.
Ruth Smith, Kyle Bailey, Bob Grubbs,
Here.
Ryan Finley,
Here.
Josh James,
Here.
Max Gimbel,
Here.
Sam Denny.
Here. All right, so we'll have, last meeting was February 4th of 26. We have some minutes here. We'll look for approval of those minutes. Everybody's read them, have a motion.
I move to approve the minutes from February 4th.
Second the motion.
Yeah, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Looks like that passes the approval. Got a couple discussion items. First one is the OPRD Local Government Grant Program application for Fairgrove Field Improvement Project.
Okay, staff is requesting approval to apply for the local government grant from the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department to assist with funding for the Fairgrove Field Improvement Project. The issue for commission is whether to recommend that the city adopt the attached resolution authorizing the grant application. On August 24th of 2020, Umpqua United Soccer, presented the proposal to council requesting permission to make major field improvements to the soccer fields at Fairgrove Park. The project will install 2 multi-use turf fields on the eastern portion of Fairgrove. One field will be sized to allow for high school and collegiate level soccer games, and the second field for high school games. Both of the fields will be striped to allow for additional users, which may include youth soccer, youth and adult soccer, lacrosse, and football. The project will also include field lighting, perimeter fencing of the playing surface, and ADA accessible viewing areas at each field. With the current field configuration, it can be difficult for spectators with mobility issues to navigate the fields. Council unanimously approved the project request and condition unanimously approved the request by Umpqua United Soccer with the condition that all funding be secured prior to beginning the project. There is a high demand for soccer space, and by converting 2 fields to artificial turf and adding lighting, this will greatly increase the capacity of the space to serve more youth and adults throughout our community. This will benefit not only soccer, but other users as well. The current construction estimate for the project is $3 million. Parks projects are typically funded through a combination of grant funding, park improvement funds, and Stewart Trust for those projects which occur within Stewart Park. Umpqua Health Alliance recently awarded $666,320 for the project through its shared grant program. If authorized, staff will be requesting $1 million from the ORPD Local Government Grant Program, which is the maximum grant award. Staff recommends the commission forward a recommendation to City Council to adopt the attached resolution authorizing staff to submit the grant application. Questions?
I have a question.
Let's let the commission ask questions first, please.
Gotcha. I'm curious if there are any risks that it seems like it makes a whole lot of sense, but I don't know if there's any risks that you see that we will know, or if there's an opportunity cost of it. You know, applying for this means you can't apply for something else later.
No, we will be applying for other grants as we go along, because if we get this grant, we'll have about half of what the project is. You can have 2 local government grants going at the same time. Is this what you're asking?
Yeah, and so if we apply for this, does it mean we then can't apply from OPRD for something else? That
If it's in a different grant program, we can, but we can only have 2 active local government grants open, and with the tennis one falling off, it opens this up to applying for another one, and this is the next one.
Because our other open one is
Brown.
Oh, Brown Park. Yeah,
And
I'm
that'll be
sorry.
wrapping up the spring, so
Okay.
we'll be closing that one as well.
So then next
So
year.
it isn't really an opportunity cost by applying for this one. Okay.
kind of over the timeline of the?
Yeah,
program?
absolutely. The grant opened Monday the 2nd. Usually it opens earlier in the year, but it was put off a little bit this year. Got started late, March 19th, which is next week. There's a workshop that you listen to and get more information. But it's pretty typical, same procedure every year. June 5th is when the applications are due. The last week of September, first week of October, looks like that's when they'll be doing the grant presentations. And the advisory board will go over, projects. November 17th and 18th, it's stated that the local government, the project ranking list will be presented to the board, and that's when they'll recommend. Usually it's, they're all ranked and there's a line that above the line you get it, below the line you don't. So it's all ranking.
Any other questions from the commission? So, I think you had a question, this is directed towards the grant program.
Yeah, that whole, the soccer field improvements, was anyone outside of the soccer club asked or anything about whether or not they wanted $1 million to be used there? You're smiling.
No,
Like, do you have an answer to that?
So, yeah, so we have master plans that we follow for our park system, and this has been a priority since, what,
we started,
Priority voted on by who though is what she's kind of getting at. Was it just you guys or was it like, did the community
So,
say
just
that
the
or
soccer
just the
club?
soccer club?
So again, we have master plans, we take public input, that develops those master plans, and that guides our priorities during that time period.
So how much input though is what I'm asking?
I think it's the most used section of our park system. So,
It really is.
yeah, like, there's like 1,000 kids that are playing soccer during the season. So I don't think we've ever had a project that's received so much community support. Yeah, I mean, this is, yeah, and I think it's been about 20 years in the making, like the whole community's we're behind in the rest of the Southern Oregon high schools, like for when it comes to like soccer facilities. Yeah, we just have the worst. It's really difficult to maintain natural grass when you have hundreds and hundreds of kids playing on the same field. It just rips it to shreds and it's unsafe for the kids. They get injured, the refs are getting injured. The amount of money and staff it takes to maintain a field like that is pretty.
So that's city property though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and the club charges a fee to use it?
Like,
So they're under a lease agreement, with the city.
the club approached the city just because they wanted to help improve it, basically, to raise money, support, like this was completely community driven. They've been working on this it was before 2020. That was just officially when the plans, I think, got submitted, but it was 10 or 15 years.
Right, but it seems like to me, from what I understand, the city has been, like, a lot of people within the city have been fighting this, and that's why it hasn't happened yet.
That's true.
No,
My understanding is it only hasn't happened yet because of the funding issue.
Huh. It's pretty contradictory to the news article I just read last night.
So what's the question behind the question? What would you like us to understand about your perspective?
So I think she was mainly getting at like, how much input are you guys getting from the community and how are you going about getting that input? Other than just like a Facebook post with a survey or something like that.
So-
how long do you guys go?
we had
Are you mailing mailers to people within the city, or, because I haven't gotten one.
We had two council meetings, one the end of July and one beginning of August specifically for this topic.
Okay,
We started the fundraising and it was a packed house. And I would say,
It's pretty divided also.
no, I would say it was 98%, I would say it was 98% in favor of the project. There was a couple of proponents.
Okay, because I just watched that video and it was pretty divided, so,
The speaking was divided,
right, the
But-
community members.
but the amount of people that showed up in support versus in not support was drastically different.
And not to be, to retread, but I think the decision's already been made that the city and council are supportive of this project. The
6 years,
question at
yes.
hand is actually
Yeah.
whether or not we want to move forward an opportunity to fund a project that's already been decided upon. I think that's true, right? So that's,
Fundraising has started and
yeah, so we're not going back on that. We're not revisiting that decision. The decision in front of us today is if we want to support it with a funding opportunity.
Or go after the funding opportunity.
Right. But noting that process matters.
And that's where we're kind of getting at, how you
Yeah.
guys determine that, so.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is we have whatever, it's 216 acres or whatever in our state park. Like, if there's a group that like loves playing volleyball, I mean, they're free to start a project, like expand to another volleyball court, like.
Well, they're free to come talk to us about it.
Oh, yeah.
They can't just go start a project.
No, I mean, well, you can start the process of trying to
Yeah.
improve the facilities or add more facilities.
And then
But,
we're at.
but it
and
has
then
to
that-
fit within our master
master
plan.
plan.
Yeah.
So this actually, she didn't cover all the steps that this project has been through. We actually updated that Fir Grove master plan prior to that 2020 date to allow this project. So it's really been, it's gone through several steps before we got here. This step is really authorizing the resolution, which is a step for this particular grant. They require this resolution from council, and so this is just formalizing that step. The process you're talking about's been ongoing for probably over a decade. You're going to start a planning process for Stewart Park. That's our next item. And that's exactly where the input that you're talking about happens. And so that opportunity is going to be coming here in the near future again for the entirety of Stewart Park.
And that's at the next council meeting?
No. That's our next topic. We're gonna talk about what happened in phase
Gotcha.
1 and getting ready for phase 2. So your timing to talk about how we get that input is good because we're gonna start a process that's gonna look exactly like what you're asking for.
Perfect, thank you. That was the question.
Any other questions or commissions? If not, we have a suggested motion here.
Just real quick, Bob, I did get an email from Joe Ross. A lot of those procedure questions on putting out the memo. It's in regards to the turf or the grant. But I'll respond to questions and get back to Joe on it. The other information is stuff that would be reviewed in the council meetings from this summer. So I'll point to those videos.
Take care.
I'll move to recommend the city council adopt the attached resolution supporting a grant application seeking funding through the OPRD local government grant program for the road field improvement project.
I second that motion.
Yeah, motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That would pass. Topic is Stewart Park Master Plan Update Phase 1, which is very timely.
Okay, the city is embarking on an update to the master plan for Stewart Park. Stewart Park is a 236 acre regional park providing a wide range of opportunities for recreation, sports, events, and social gatherings for city residents and visitors and people of all ages throughout the year. As community needs change over time, updating the master plan will help ensure Stewart Park continues to serve the community for decades to come. City contracted with MIG Consulting to complete phase 1, which was completed in December of 2025. The goal of this phase was to identify opportunities and constraints within the park and to gather community input on existing conditions, desired uses, priorities, and future needs. The vision survey asked questions about the entirety of Stewart Park, which included Fir Grove and Riverfront Park. A link to the online survey was promoted by the city and partners through email, social media, and interviews with news sources. The results represent the opinions of a large number. We had just under 1,400 respond, which was amazing. And these were respondents in and around the Roseburg area. The survey was available online December 4th through the 10th. I don't know that. Yeah, I was gonna say it's 20th, that's a typo. The responses and summary provided will be an important reference for the continuing Stewart Park Master Plan updating process. Since receiving MIG's findings, staff has been analyzing and preparing a request for proposal bid documents. Once those are ready, those will go out and we will be selecting a consultant to move forward with this master planning process. Updating process, I'm sorry.
We talked a little at the last meeting about bringing you some of the high level input that we found, so she's got a few things to go through there. The one thing I just wanted to plug is this, the reason we did kind of a phase one is Umpqua Health Alliance had given a grant to Thrive Umpqua, and a portion of that grant, $25,000, was to get this master plan started. But it needed to be expended by the end of December, and so we had kind of a quick time. We wanted to get some meaningful work with that first 25,000. That'll set us up then to do the RFP to make a selection for a consultant for the overarching master plan that's coming. So it'll be a bigger undertaking. It also included a bunch of mapping around Stewart Park, including what we call constraint mapping. Sorry, Val, I don't know if you're ready to get into this.
No, go ahead.
So there's lots of different projects that have happened in and around the natural area that were wetland mitigation projects, building of the second pond. Those all had some extensive permitting requirements with them. So to kind of capture, I think I'm the last person still working here that was here when those projects were done. And so to kind of capture some of that historical, hey, here's where that information can be found, where we wanted to get that into our GIS system, at least get it referenced. Also outline, here's where the wetlands are, the mitigated wetlands, here's detention ponds, here's the parts of the park or the entirety of the park that are under land and water conservation funds requirements. So that means it's been reserved for outdoor recreation. If you want to put any buildings on it, that's a pretty extensive exchange process. So just making sure that in perpetuity, we kind of have that information of what is there and what the opportunities and constraints. But the constraints might be as we go to start talking about what the opportunities are. And one of the big conversations will be around golf, and if that's the highest and best use of that 90 acres as we move forward. So we expect a lot of conversation with the community in that next phase. But the 1,400 responses was pretty, that's just blows away anything we've had in past master planning efforts. So we're pretty excited that we have input coming in, and we expect, oh gosh, what's the average? I would say,
Oh, they said if you get 800, that's a good, and they work with people all over.
Out of 20,000 plus people? Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna guess like 400 would be a lot for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5% is great.
Minimum, and then when you can't reach out with social media and you invite people to the meeting,
I mean, yeah, there's
yeah, you could get 10 people there, or you might get 30, I don't know, but
There were flyers posted around town too.
yeah, so.
So that's where we are. So there's still another phase coming. It's not like all the input's been taken and we're moving on. It just, we had a shortish turnaround time to utilize that funding and wanted to make it meaningful. But anyway, I interrupted you, so
No.
keep going.
Yeah, stop it there. So,
Oh, there's the mouse, sorry.
oh no, and we hopefully everybody got to look through those. It's better than the copies we have. So overall findings, walking and running paths, were of course popular. So we've got playground activities, including the train. People call the train out. They love it. Want to see it go anywhere. Community events, music on the half shell, sports, primarily soccer, baseball, softball, disc golf, tennis, and pickleball. When exploring options of different groups that responded, respondents in households with children were more interested in sports and playground activities, while also more concerned about the safety and cleanliness of the park. These households also tend to be less visited or visit less often. Respondents in households without children were more interested in the walking trails and exercise, while visiting more frequently and more likely to want increased dog-friendly spaces in the park. Other demographics responded closely to the results as a whole. I'm just gonna go through a couple of these slides. The last time you visited Stewart Park, what were you there to do? Observations, walking, running, exercising was the top priority or the top activity. I don't know, I'm about halfway through. I don't think these are really, pages aren't labeled.
Right after the first
It's the
paragraph.
first graph.
Okay, playground activities topped the list for households with children or visiting children, as well as respondents in the 25 to 44 age ranges. Sports were also more popular with these households. Music events, performances, was important across all demographics. So the page, couple pages here, one of the slides, what is your favorite area in Stewart Park? The observations were favorite areas match closely with what people come to Stewart Park to do, with Pathways Playground and the Van Shell ranking highly. Pathway users visit more frequently overall, while playground users tend to be monthly visitors or less. And of course, we asked what your concerns are. Overwhelmingly focused on the impacts of houselessness in Stewart Park. These concerns were magnified in households with children and infrequent visitors to the park. Go more pages. If you were to guess what new activities we want in Stewart Park in the future, what would they be? Included bike features, pump tracks, bike skills course, rock climbing and bouldering, games, bocce ball, cornhole, chess, riverfront access, small boat launch, gaga ball pit, miniature golf, outdoor exercise equipment, and separate small and large off-leash dog areas. And just one more I have flagged here. What is your relationship to Roseburg? And the vast majority of the respondents reported living in Roseburg. So that's good to know. A lot of our user groups that come in and play softball, little league, soccer, about 80% of those people are from, on rosters are from outside the Roseburg city limits. So anyway, in the Roseburg area, that's good knowing what people in Roseburg want.
What's a dog ball?
So it's a little round pit with like plastic or wooden walls, and there's a little ball, and you like swat the ball up against the outside. Anyways, I think you try to swat it and hit the other.
It's like a sport.
Yeah,
Very popular with the 8-year-olds.
Was
yeah.
it who?
The 8-year, the
It's
8-year.
kind of-
Elementary
It's kind of like,
school.
it's dodgeball, it's dodgeball with a little miniature fence around it, and if you hit the ball into someone else, they're out, so they have to hop over the.
My kids love it.
Sunny Slope has a pit under the
Oh,
park
okay, so the
area.
schools have it, okay,
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're
it's
the
just a-
elementary schools.
okay.
Yeah.
So you know you,
Oh, no,
okay.
and I think they tried to explain it to me one time before somebody asked that, I still didn't know, I'm thinking like a ball pit.
It's like-
McDonald's, I'm
I don't
like,
know,
why?
it's like maybe 12 feet in diameter, so like a 3-foot
Page.
little fence,
Okay,
and, yeah, kids love it.
thank you for that.
Anyway, we have some good stuff to work with here, and it'll guide the rest of the planning process for the updates. So, anyway, any questions or?
So next steps, RFP, get a consultant on board, and start planning.
And we'll be doing that this spring, likely bringing that back to the commission. Late spring or summer.
So after that bid was won, they'd be doing more like outreach
Should be more outreach.
and like with specific ideas and stuff for potentially.
I think just more public outreach and commenting.
Oh.
I mean, they'll take that, the plan is to take that input and then develop some options on what Stewart Park could look like in the future. And remember, this is a 20-year plan, so you know, it's a
Yeah.
long-term vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the developed alternatives, and then it kind of keeps working with whatever the committee is that gets brought together for that, and you work your way into the preferred options. They put numbers to that, and then it's broken into usually short, medium, and long-term projects, depending on how you can fund those things. Yeah, and then the decision has to be made on how do you go after funding.
And for the most part, park improvement projects are done with grants and private donations.
We have
A little bit of
successfully
city
passed
volunteer.
bonds in the past too, to undertake major improvements, but it's been a hot minute.
I have maybe a comment and a question. The comment is, I think we had an amazing turnout for this, and I think great information. I do want to note that it wasn't randomized, it wasn't a randomized sampling of this. And so we'll definitely skew towards people who have access to internet and who are already civically engaged and things like that. And so it's great information, but there's gaps in it as well, for sure. Which is my question, since we have community folks here, when we go into the next round of engagement, are there ways that would be more potent to engage with you all or communities you're most closely associated with to ensure that you do feel like your voice is represented the next time we do information gathering?
Well, I'm been pretty active with working with the parks and stuff, so I get, you know, most of the information, like I got the surveys and stuff, so I pass it along to the disc golf community. And so they have a pretty good input on that because I get emails and notifications and stuff like that. So I try to pass it on to them. I'm not sure any other communities, you know, like you said, if you're prior engagement, you know, you're more bound to be solicited with those things.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
you're
quite sure.
willing to do that, because that's, I mean, a lot of the user groups, we get it to a person
Yeah.
and they get it out to the
Yeah, I mean,
user
that's what I try to do, you know, I mean, for the most part.
I think to get a broader sense of what the community is wanting outside of just the internet, maybe just you could post more maybe flyers or
Mailers.
yeah, like we're brought up
Mailers are
mailers.
expensive.
They are, yeah, I thought this sounds expensive. So maybe just something, you know, yeah, that's more in the community, like posted at the park, not just on the internet.
Yeah, at specific places where you're looking for the input from the people using those spaces,
And I-
instead of just at random places around town.
I also think it could be more stress that community involvement, public input needs to be, you
It's
know.
a time sensitive issue.
Well, it's important and not a lot of people do it, reach out and express their concerns or yeah, so I think that could be stressed more on our parts and other people in the community to let people know that it's important that they reach out. If they want to see changes in what they want,
Now is definitely the time.
then they gotta say something, you know, because
Show up to meetings, show up to the council meetings, answer the surveys.
Did
We're
you
trying-
guys see the survey? You guys, so you knew about it?
yeah, I knew about the survey, yeah.
I did take the survey
Yeah.
this time, yes.
Did you take the survey?
I
Did
did.
we- Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Has the city ever sponsored anything like iPads, like in Stewart Park, like a booth with iPads and just like grab people that say, hey, we're having a survey here, if you guys don't have access to internet, don't have anything, like to provide them an opportunity at the park?
So I don't think we've done any master plan updates since an iPad has been invented. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, I would just have like a day, you know, like you said,
Well,
like
just volunteers in general, just to have like, hey, guys, like, we're having this booth, the information, and the iPad to like actually fill out the
Yeah.
surveys. and
Yeah, so maybe it needs
educate
to on the
them.
park or movies or something like that. That's,
Yeah.
that's an idea, because we don't allow people to hand out paper things,
Yeah.
because that just turns into trash that we have to pick up
Right.
later. So, yeah, well, that would be something that we would work with that consultant.
I mean, I definitely volunteer for something like that, just to give a.
Yeah.
We do put things like on the kiosks in the park, we can't like go out and take things places, that's against, I mean, you have to
We
abide by
follow
our
the same rules
rules.
we make
Yeah.
other people follow,
So, I
yeah.
mean, in the kiosks, but you have to go to the kiosk to see them, you know, so. And I tell you, I felt like I was a big pest to all of the partners that helped with this, because I was twice a week during this 3 week. Please remember to send these emails out, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna get blocked.
Well, the other thing is now you can just do a QR code, so if we can get that
And we do
QR
that,
code to people that
yeah.
are coming in, they can access it, because most
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
ability. Not everybody, but a lot of people do now.
Yeah, but all of our user groups, like, well, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, they were all part of this, and they have a lot of members or people visiting there. So they were well aware, and so, yeah, I would have liked to see more, but 1,400 was a very good number, we were told.
It sounds like it is.
Yeah, so.
Sometimes we get Roseburg Tracker to help us
Yeah,
out, and
yeah.
have a lot of reach.
Yeah.
It's almost double what you guys are expecting, so it's
Yeah.
definitely a good number.
Yeah, it was an encouraging start, for sure.
So I mean, that we've seen other communities been really helpful, is like if you already have community events happening in the park where users are showing up, you could have like a table or a booth, like with an iPad or a place for people to have a QR code or something like that, so to piggyback on events that already draw people into the space.
It's national.
But I would imagine whoever consultants we work with know those sorts of strategies.
Oh, I had a question. Nikki, you mentioned that bonds had been passed. Do you happen to remember what the last one was for
So the last one was when.
that went through?
Yeah, it was when we converted for growth from baseball to soccer and bought Sunshine Park and built it. Was the chunk of it. There were a bunch of other park improvements done then too, so it was around 2,000.
Did the bond get like a landslide, or was it pretty close?
I don't actually remember that part.
I'm just curious, like,
We followed it up, because your best is if you can do a bond, and then when that one's expiring, do another one right away. And quite frankly, our polling showed that our follow-up bond was not going to pass, and the school was doing a bond at the same time that was showing it was gonna pass, and our council made a decision to go ahead, even though our polling showed we weren't gonna pass, and then they both failed. And there hasn't been, neither one of us, we haven't tried again. School district hasn't been able to pass one since, so it's been a pretty tough go. But I think the important thing is to have a product that people can see, this is what my money would build. And that's what this master plan, I'm not saying that council will decide, that's not a staff decision to go forward with the bond, but it is one of the funding mechanisms that we do need to remember is a possibility.
I have a question on the survey results. Oftentimes when groups solicit information from ours for people, it builds trust to be able to then share that information back out to people who took the time to give their opinions. Is there a process? I don't know if it's on the city website. I don't know what legal
That's a good
space
point.
we have, but can we share this back out with folks? And maybe even Val, you talked to lots and lots of people. I wrote to some folks and say, hey, thank you so much for sharing this with your networks. Here's the results we have. This is only phase one. We're still gonna be looking for more input, but it's an opportunity to just sort of build the movement and momentum around what we're doing and continue to build trust around sort of engagement.
Yeah, we've done a little bit of that with some of the cafe groups that were formed, but that's a great idea. We can do that via email, and I did it on our website. So, yeah.
There's a good light lift for sort of a high potential for engagement and trust building.
Yeah, it doesn't just go into a black hole because we, there's gonna be a lag now as we go through the next process to do the selections.
Yeah.
Keep people interested and engaged.
Any other questions or comments about the Stewart Park Master Plan update?
Exciting.
So the new update will be for 20 years instead of just 5?
Yeah, they're typically 20-year plans, and then they break the projects kind of out into first 5 years. And
Okay,
it's all funding dependent. We haven't done every project in the last plan because the,
Last about
Right.
20 years old.
yeah, it was 20 years.
And you
25
can
years.
find the, I think it's closer to 25 years. You can find the current parks master plan on the city website as well.
Mm.
There, you'll see a lot of things on there that didn't quite get done, but there's a number of things that did as well.
Another time, reserve high expectations, that's of you guys, if, what's your concerns today, we appreciate that. Anything else that you guys like? to add?
sorry, but again.
Yeah, I had a concerning phone call the other day. I had a few people reach out to me saying the Parks Department had came and taken out some benches and tables and stuff from the disc golf course after they just got put back in there. And the only reason why I got called is, the reasoning behind this is because I did something, it was my fault. They blamed on me, this is from the parks people, so I don't know how my name's getting thrown into, things getting taken away from the disc golf course, but as far as I can remember, I've done nothing but, put my time and effort and energy into making sure that course is how it is right now. I mean, it wouldn't look the way it does. If it wasn't for me coming in here and complaining and asking you guys for the things that it has at all. You guys can say you're doing all these things, but yes, because the community complained and it needed to be done. So my question is, why is my name being dropped as a negative thing in the community that, I'm pretty prominent in and care about? So now I have to go there and be asked every time, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? So this is coming from, these.
I heard it firsthand.
I asked them
We asked the
firsthand.
park guys as they were grabbing the
They-
benches.
So,
They
I'm
said
not
it
quite
was, it was in
positive why.
retaliation.
Yeah, he
Also-
didn't use retaliation.
Also, in the last meeting, I kind of got shut down and wasn't allowed to speak. It ended very abruptly. I'm not quite sure why that happened. I was reached out to have a closed, closed door meeting to give out the information and speak on behalf of what I wanted to speak with last time. And maybe I think it was just an opportunity to make it feel like my voice was heard, but that wasn't really the issue. It's more letting the community know what's going on and how the parks is trying to kind of like, I don't know, you guys gave me a list of things that you guys did since 2021. And the majority of the list is things that me and my friends have done since 2021.
Volunteers.
And 2021 is when I came in here the first time, asking you guys why you were gonna sell equipment that was donated to you guys after we just donated you guys 9 brand new baskets. And we have 9 brand new baskets sitting waiting to get put in, and we're just afraid that, the other baskets that are gonna be taken out are just gonna be not used or sold for whatever, go into a general fund that goes to whatever. I mean, it's so bad that we had to buy the baskets ourselves. We couldn't get the money, raise the money and give it to you guys because it would go to a general fund and you guys couldn't even just appropriate that money to the baskets. Like, we had to buy it. That's kind of ridiculous, right? Like, even if we gave you the money for it, like, we had to purchase them ourselves, donate to you guys. So I'm just, I don't know, I'm
I'm
pretty.
hearing 2 questions, but I wonder if we can address, there's a question around benches and tables.
So
And
the
there's-
question is why I'm being reflected as the reason why these benches and tables
Yeah.
are being taken.
Maybe we could pause there for a second. Does anyone have any information about tables or parks?
So, but 2 things, these are operational issues, which.
I mean, you guys just went to put
doesn't
them in,
deal
and then I
with.
had the conversation, and then
But go ahead, Ryan.
you guys
You
take
need to
them
let him answer, please.
So in the winter months, we pull in picnic tables, benches, bleachers, and we rehab them and get ready for summer.
Right.
The parks has been working on that.
Oh, you guys
No,
did
you
that.
did that.
Let him stop, let him finish.
Okay.
So
Sorry, that's your
most of the benches didn't come from disc golf. They came from other parks. We had a temporary employee that went and just distributed a bunch into disc golf that belong in other parks. So I asked them to retract those back so we could put them in the parks where they came from. I think there's 5 benches.
Then where are the benches we're the ones that have been at the disc golf course then.
I think there's 5 out there now, right?
But that's way less than what we
That
had.
was all they do, so that those,
I'll,
yeah,
I'll follow up. on
so
that.
like,
Yeah, we're down
there
3
and-
employees on an 8-person crew right now, so
well,
we're
there's-
using temporary
I'm more
employees. We're
concerned
gonna make
about
some
why I'm
mistakes.
being reflected as a negative reason in a community by the Parks Department. That's what I'm irritated about, all right? I come in here and you obviously, I mean, I've made a stink a couple times, you know what I mean? For good reason, and it's got some results. But for
And I
you,
don't know the negative aspect of what you're talking about.
I,
I don't do a lot of social media, so.
that's not social media, man. It was in person.
So,
So let him follow up. I mean, is that the appropriate?
Let me follow up with the employees that were out there.
okay,
Definitely can do that.
but, me and Nino here, we did hear it firsthand. You said it came from the council. You guys
Nothing
told
came
him
from
to
the
do it.
council.
Can I finish speaking?
Sure.
Thank you.
I just,
This is what he told us. He
Who's-
said it was because some Kyle guy came in and made a disruptive scene in the city council, and that's what he told us.
So public employees are telling your community members that. So I mean.
so he
that's-
needs to follow up
Yeah,
on that.
I'll follow up with that, Kyle. I'll get back to you on Kyle.
But I can also tell you that city council's never had a discussion that's involved Kyle and that name.
Okay.
So it didn't come from city council. I can assure you that.
It came from somewhere.
And we'll follow
Somewhere
up
higher
and
up.
find,
Than the people that are just pulling the benches. So I mean.
Thank you for following up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'll get back to you, Kyle.
And also, we did start out a petition, amongst the community just to see how everyone feels about these baskets that aren't being used and the next 9 baskets that get put in and the 9 that are coming out on how we could repurpose those. We've had a strong response of over 200 people, that are wanting to put these other baskets in somewhere else in the community via a school spread throughout different parts, even if a couple baskets here or there. This riverfront gets crowded with disc golfers.
Crowded.
It's, there's
And as it's
over,
growing, yeah, we're not gonna have
at
to.
some points, there's over 50 people there playing out that course at one time,
Which can be
which
dangerous.
can be dangerous. It's such a small course. So we're trying to look for a new place for baskets to separate some of the crowding and disperse some of the disc golfers. Basically our biggest thing we're trying to do, other than set in the other 9 baskets we currently have for you guys.
Also and you guys are accepting, like proposals, stuff right now for like, changes to the course or alterations or maybe new course right now to go on the master plan?
Well, as we talked a couple weeks ago, Kyle, you said you had proposals. I asked for you to just send them to me so I could take a look at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we brought in multiple proposals. I mean, the last one that we gave, I gave Ryan a copy of it. I gave Val a copy of it. I mean, they've been turned into the city, so I mean,
Yeah,
And
we
we
got,
only-
we got one from Javier and we talked about that 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. So I guess in response to the baskets, we have rules that we have to follow when we're surplusing stuff. And there's a couple options. They either go to a public auction, or if we can donate them to a nonprofit, we can do that. Kyle, you mentioned talking about East Elementary, and
Yeah.
potentially out there, that might be an option.
They're into it.
they are, yeah.
That the land and the great spot.
So I think if you're working on that communication, maybe
Yeah.
something can happen with
I
that.
mean, yeah, I'll just need to go ahead for you guys that you can give them the baskets and then I can say, yeah, you can have the baskets and then it's
So
swap.
if they want us to design a course for them and everything. Good relations for,
I mean, it seems
5
like disc
years.
golf's pretty high up on your guys' list, so that's good that there's a big turnout there. I mean, it seems to be quite higher than pickleball or stuff like that, so, yeah, all soccer. fields.
the other thing is, and these are just numbers based off the disc golf app called UDisc that lets you keep track of your score. It's, those most used app in disc golf, tells you what courses are, and by disc golf, UDisc statistics, Riverfront is in the 9.4% most played disc golf courses in the United States. More so than Whistler's Bend, which is a very premier disc golf course.
Top 10%.
It's 200,
In the
200.
world.
Just to show the strength of our disc golf community here in Roseburg, just one stat, and that could grow even more. Disc golf's growing every year, like 1,000 rounds a year, according to UDisc. And that's just UDisc, not everyone is using that app. I just started using it recently and I played probably thousands of rounds myself at that course. Over the years, so.
I think it's gonna be really important to get that participation during this master plan. So we're gonna have this gap, it's gonna be really quiet, so bringing this stuff right now isn't
I mean,
necessarily.
I feel like it's very obvious. I mean, the disc golf community's been trying to work with you guys for the last, since 2021, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I've been coming in here, they've been volunteering for the last 5-6 years. I mean, they're running events to,
So when would be an appropriate time?
So we need to get the consultant on board, get the work started, and then the outreach starts. And so keep in touch and we will be communicating. But I just, again, I wanted to let you know, it's gonna go quiet for a little bit as we go through the selection process.
Right.
And then we're gonna start up again, and that's the time to engage and make sure that you're feeling like your voice is heard, because there's a lot of space in that area, and there's also a lot of demand, and so that's when those conversations are gonna happen. So it'd be great to have you guys at the table.
great, thank you.
Thank you very
It
much.
sounds like in the interim, there may be something that can happen with Eastwood, if that still keeps nudging that effort along.
Yeah, and so we would need somebody from Eastwood to reach out, and we would enter into an agreement with them to
Yeah.
donate the baskets.
Okay.
What about looking into the possibility of adding a couple of these surplus baskets as like just, I mean, because I'm guessing you guys are wanting, it's like practice holes.
Either practice holes spread through, just, different parts, here and there.
Or all of them.
Or preferred would be at least a 9-hole course somewhere.
Eastwood would
to
be
just-
preferred
to just-
place to go. I mean, that way,
disperse the foot traffic in Riverfront disc golf course. It's such a tight course, and there's a lot of people throwing the disc in the air, become a hazard to the other golfers.
And the people using.
And even
the
people
paths.
just walking on the paths and stuff, it just gets crowded.
I believe the proposal that Javier sent, or that you guys received from Javier, was to expand down below. And that was to alleviate, what they're talking about, some of the more sketchier crowding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stretch out.
Really, if we could move 3 holes up there, it would
Down.
alleviate a lot of the danger, or, I know you guys are talking about like the maybe changing some of the zonings, if we could get that field over there, we could put 2 or 3 holes in the field where we park. We do sometimes, we put baskets up there and just
You're talking the
the overflow lot, yeah.
parking.
Yeah.
Even if it was, temporary pin set, collars, so we could just move the baskets back and forth for different settings. For like a tournament setting, in a sense, when we have over 60 people playing on the course for a tournament.
Drive over colors.
If we could just use the area, it would alleviate and make it a much friendlier, easy flowing and safer course. And more usable.
And we'll bring this up again
Okay.
later on in the planning process.
So, this is a curious question from my standpoint. I understand, totally get it, it's very, very full and very well used, well maintained, so it's a valuable part for sure. And like you said, the one at, Whistler's Bend is a premier, I've heard a lot of stories about that.
That's
Why,
top 50 in the world.
why do you believe there's more at Riverfront than not? Is it location, is it the course?
Yeah, it's because of location.
Convenience of the in-town.
Anybody that's driving through, that's a disc golfer, they want to stop for a little bit, they usually just come.
It's
That's kind of
a
a
short,
visual,
it's a shorter course, compared to some.
28 holes,
So it's
right at least?
27 Whistler.
27.
But
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, the levelness of Riverfront is only the one hill you have to walk up, really, and the one hill you have to walk down at the end.
Yeah, Whistler's like the black, it was a black diamond, you would, you know,
Right,
compared to like a.
Black
mountain bike
Diamond,
course or
River Front
something, Up and down
Beach,
drills.
it's a funny slope.
Long board.
Compared,
It was like a part
comparison.
3 compared to it.
In
Yeah.
comparison to
Compared to
Whistler's,
Bandit
that's like,
Dunes or something, yeah.
80 flights of stairs or something to play that course.
Okay, that makes sense. So you can get in, get through, get.
You can't go and play Whistler's every
Stop.
day.
Yeah, if you play by yourself, you just play around and, you know, in your lunch if you need to.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, a lot of people do that. They'll come take their lunch and they'll
Speed through.
speed through, they'll run the course in a sense. We knew a guy, we used to call him Lunchbox, because he had his lunchbox and his disc, and every lunch he was out there every day. So yeah, just in a comparison and to show you guys where it stands. And
So the value of it is the flatness, easy accessible, short course. To me, it seems pretty challenging. I'm not sure if it is. or not.
It's
I mean, it's streets
challenging,
everywhere.
It is a challenge.
it's
course,
doable
a
for
technical
anybody.
course, yeah.
It's doable for anybody can play that course and shoot a decent round, which makes it inviting. And so a lot of people show up and look.
Plus, it's really close to play structures for kids and a lot of room.
I think that's pretty good input, kind of see what the value is, what from that. Show.
Uh,
Played a few times. But I just
I mean, a lot of people
don't-
rehab through, you know, do their physical therapy and stuff through disc golf.
Physical
It's
therapy,
super
yeah.
low impact. I
I've
mean,
seen people go out
vets
there
all the
to
time. There's a lot
avoid
of
drug addiction,
older people, yeah.
Okay.
stuff like that, yeah.
That brings
That's all I
us,
have.
okay.
I think I have one last question. That's over since 2024 April. You guys have had 13 park meetings and have canceled or moved over 21 of them. Just wondering why that number is so high compared to the meetings you've had.
Why is there so many park commission meetings that they canceled?
That get canceled and, yeah, or moved.
To be
and
fair, they've been
Yeah.
pretty consistent.
So there's two reasons. One will be if there's no agenda items, and the second one will be if we don't have a quorum.
Just curious on that.
I think it's probably more, there's definitely both options, but probably more options, more likely, no, more agenda items, right? That's usually the.
Yeah, we get our big projects, we're pushing through, then we have some informational stuff.
It seems easy.
Basically gaps and what, yeah. Okay. That was my last question.
Thank you guys for being so nice today.
Well, thanks for your engagement.
Stuff and all.
Very passionate about disc golf. We know how many people enjoy it and we just want to see it succeed. And you guys do have the opportunity, if the golf course is going away, you guys can put in another world-class course with Whistler's being here. And you can start drawing in A-tier tournaments, which would be touring pros,
With a pro shop.
touring pros, all the people who follow them for the tournaments. If you go and just look up Disc Golf Worlds from last year, their fairways are, it's like watching Masters Cup for PGA.
Look at the revenue that the
There's-
city brought in.
Thousands of people watching these guys throw discs.
Millions and millions of dollars.
I'd take 10, 15 acres of your 290 acres plus.
I mean, it's really Roseburg's prime to do something really cool with disc golf. It really is, that not a lot of places do, and then that have, they've done it really successfully, so. I can get some numbers and stuff like that and bring it to you guys too, to kind of drive that point home, but that's for another meeting.
Thank you.
Hey.
Informational?
Yeah, just give the commission some project updates. Tomorrow afternoon at 3:30, we're doing the ribbon cutting at the tennis and pickleball courts, so if you're available, come on by. High school ladies and men's tennis started practicing there Monday, so the courts are being used now. They will be practicing tomorrow afternoon during the ribbon cutting. 3:30, yeah. Brown Park is coming along. The crew's been spending the last couple weeks uncrating several crates of playground equipment. It doesn't come specific to each play structure. It's just everything gets thrown in the box. So they're dividing it out by play structure and scattering it in our parks yard.
Fun.
So when they go to assemble it, they know they've got the right bolt kits and everything. But they're gonna be starting, I think they've started on the footings now for that play equipment. So we'll start seeing play equipment going out there soon. They gotta construct 176 footings to get all the play equipment in. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. And then the Sunshine Park Mountain Bike Trail project, we have signed contracts with the contractor. We have a pre-construction meeting with the contractor tomorrow and they're eager to get going, so we will likely see them mobilize in a couple of weeks and start on that project. That's great. So that's what I have on project updates. And they have any questions on those?
Commission.
Sorry, I had one more thing. I'm sorry. I am in possession of those other 9 baskets. So I get hounded, a lot about when is a good time we can talk about giving them to you guys and getting them set up.
I think that's what we're trying to figure out with Eastwood. So once we get a hold of Eastwood, get the okay from them, with baskets, don't get the nine.
Is that how it work better if you guys?
You just need to coordinate with staff.
Okay.
I reach out to me, Kyle, or I'd like you guys to stick around afterwards.
Sure.
All right, well,
Is
our
that
next,
at Eastwood Elementary, is that where it is?
Yeah,
Yes.
so we used to go down there and they play, they have a nice
Make
field and
makeshift
stuff.
course.
They came to us, they had some permanent baskets they had purchased, so they have permanent baskets already there.
No,
And they want to design a course that goes around, that kind of incorporates their nature trail and stuff all along here.
Goes unused for 3 months of the year. So.
It was their idea, honestly. So,
all right, well, our next scheduled meeting is April 1st. 2025.
We all have a meeting.
26.
I don't know if we'll have a quorum.
2026.
By 20, oh yeah, 26, I read as I said 25 there.
It does, yeah.
I give them for reading. All right, well, we're done, thank you all. Thank
It'll be easier if you make that.
Thank you very much.
You all